Good evening, everybody. Apologies for the slight interruption there. We just, for whatever reason, Twitch decided to have a moment and completely kicked me out of the account and will not let us back in. So we are back here with the TTG Esports Invitational, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Thank you for joining us once again. We're going to get this race underway in the not too distant future, everyone. So a reminder of what happened in qualifying. Georges today was the fastest of everyone then in the qualifying session. It was a second place for Harlan Marquis and third place for Sergio Sabrino. He did a brilliant job in that session. As it appears, the channel has been deleted off YouTube, so not quite sure why that has happened, but we have managed to get the we are back now here on Leaf Racing TV. Again, thank you so much everyone for joining us for this race, and we won't be, I'm glad to say, we won't be too far before we are able to get the action back underway. We were quickly going through the championship standings before we got rather rudely booted off onto YouTube. As you can see, the championship standings there. FBR top at the moment, ET8 in second place, looking almost certain that they will end up securing that second place in the championship. And further down the order, you see WOR in third place, but they're not taking part tonight, so it's very likely that they will not be the person finishing in third place. It's very likely that it will be Intrepid, TTG, Shazoo. Seeing as we haven't got two TTG drivers, and imagine it'd be a brave person to bet against Intrepid at the moment. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. They are looking like the ones most confident to finish in that third place in the championship. But hey ho, we'll wait and see. We will have to wait to see what can happen. The drivers just getting their setups ready, just getting their strategies ready, and seeing what they can do here. Whether they can do something slightly different, whether they can look at the weather, because it looks very, got to be honest, it looks very overcast indeed there at the moment, as we get ready to race, of course, around the Jose Carlos Pache. 4.309 kilometers, 2.677 miles, 15 turns with 5 to the left, and it is 5 to the right and 10 to the left. And you can see the corners there, and you can see the DRS straights, which are the most important, and that is where you're going to see most of the action in the race, as unfortunately the host has left the session, which can always cause all sorts of chaos. These things are sent to testers. Those are the strategies when everyone has gone for the tyres, and it is a very interesting strategy for Harlan Marquis there. He has gone for a set of the soft tyres. A lot of the other drivers going for a set of the medium tyres. We're seeing that from J. Cole as well. We're also seeing that from Alex Santana and Darksy, and we're hearing here we might have to have a restart. We believe some people have started the race a bit too keen, and there is going to be a restart. So I'll have to wait and see what the admins say about this one, because obviously it's not my choice to make. Again, apologies for the delay. I know we're keen to get underway, but sometimes these things can happen. I've spoken about the many positives of lobby resets. I think there we just spoken about one of the many downsides of lobby resets. But it is the day. Harlan Marquis then in second place. As yeah, J. Cole and Dan are in the wrong places on the grid, so that's another slight issue that we've got at the moment. As is it going to be your guess is as good as mine, folks. We're waiting to see what is happening here. Hopefully we'll get an answer round about now. I think we are going to be having a red flag here, and we are going to be restarting the session. And again, some of the cars are in the wrong place on the grid. J. Cole in 8th and Dan in 13th position at the moment. It was definitely J. Cole who qualified in 13th place. As yeah, a few more drivers are now leading the session, so that says it all. Apologies for this once again, folks, but we are going to have to bring an abrupt end to that race. Very quick indeed. Just adding a bit more anticipation, but if we haven't had enough drama and other stuff going on in the background with the game, picking various times to well, with Twitch deciding to delete the TTG channel apparently, which is quite an unfortunate incident. Certainly not what you want to be remembered for. the channel getting deleted. We will try to find out about that one, but I think it's safe to assume that for now, this race is going to be staying right here. This race is going to be staying right here on League Racing TV for now. So the session is going to get underway. Uno momento. We'll be able to get back going. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen the grid, so let's try and remember what happened. It is Georges Dadair on pole position there. Whether they'll have to... That's actually going to be an interesting point, because I'm not sure that's happened so far this season. Whether they'll actually have to keep on the tyres that they qualified on, I'm not so sure. They might be... Whether they'll be allowed to change their tyres and try different ones is... your guess is as good as mine on that one. So we'll keep an eye out for that, whether drivers are going to be allowed to, you know, just change different tyres at the moment. I think the restart in the end was not for setups. It was for drivers getting the grid order wrong. There was a slight discrepancy in the grid order, with J. Cole being in 8th when he should have been in 13th, and Zoidema being in 8th when being in 13th when he should have been in 8th. Basically, that was the mix-up on the grid. Times like this, I really wish I had a co-commentator alongside me, but these things happen, folks. It's just builds up that anticipation once again. Whether we'll see dynamic weather again, or whether we'll be back to normal weather conditions, could be one that I'm waiting to see here. They might be sticking with the weather what was originally meant to be in the session. It looks like it's going to be dynamic, folks. We have managed to get back in to the lobby, thankfully. And the drivers are joining pretty quickly. I will give them that credit. The drivers are sending their way into the lobby at the moment with quite some vigorousness, and are, you know, trying to get in as much as they possibly can, which makes my life a lot easier. Obviously means it's more likely to get some entertainment for you. Let us know again in the chat who you think is going to take a victory. A reminder of the top 3 drivers: Georges Dadair on pole position, Paulo Marquis for Zhou in second place, and George's ET8 teammate for tonight, Sergio Sabrino, has qualified in the 3rd place. Those were the drivers, and you can see the calendar that we had there. Very short calendar, of course, starting just over a month ago at the Bahrain Grand Prix at the Sakir circuit, where the story for the season, if you were with us for qualifying, you'll realise I've already said about this, but we're in the filler time. For those who remember the 2011 Brazilian Grand Prix? No, it was Canadian Grand Prix, of course. The famous David Coulthard and Martin Brundle talking about the colours of shoulders on Blackbirds. This is sometimes what you have to do, and obviously Crofty and Brundle last year at Belgium. FER versus ET8 was the story of the season, right from the word go. Dylan Warren having a moment that I'm sure he will not thank me for reminding you all of, when he spun coming out of turn number 13 on lap number 28 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Not an ideal incident, and that's been the story of ET8's season. If that hadn't have happened, if Georges Dadair hadn't have had a wheel failure, his steering wheel decided to disconnect slightly and sent him off towards the wall at Saudi Arabia, damaging his front wing. He ended up finishing down in 8th place. So yeah, that is well, I'd never mind finishing 8th place. He ended up finishing down in 11th. My apologies. Scored no points whatsoever. That's a 30, possibly 40-point swing towards FER. You look at the standings at the moment, there's 69 points. I'm not saying it would have made a difference as to whether FER would be leading the championship or not, but I definitely think we'd have been seeing a bit more of a battle. And judging by tonight, ET8 at the moment look to have a very strong lineup tonight. So could have been very intriguing indeed. We have got all but one driver in the session now, and I think actually in a moment of delicious irony, Ayub has been able to join for TTG, which might not please a few of the drivers. Though that is the case, I can imagine quite a few are going to be Imagine quite a few will be quite annoyed that TTG, despite turning up 48 minutes late, have actually been able to manage to get their final driver in this session. And that's just the way things go. A bit of a let-off, a bit of a release there for TTG that they have been able to get their final driver into the session. All 18 are in now, so we will be setting the grid up. We'll be able to get 36 laps underway. We are under dynamic weather conditions once more, so whether we do get any rain in this session, it looked very cloudy last time around. Let's put it that way. Things looked extremely cloudy for the aborted race. I think that's the best term to use for the postponed race. Whether we'll get that this time, we might get some rain, which will certainly spice things up. Hopefully, what we do get is drivers realising not to ready up straight away, because that is just going to cause all sorts of issues. Hopefully, we get everyone remembering to set their setup on. Hopefully, we got all the drivers in their correct place on the grid. A reminder, CRE have a qualifying ban, so they'll be starting in the final 2 positions on the grid. Ayub Khan, I imagine, will be the TTG driver taking the 5th-place grid penalty, although they'd already given it to Matteo De Campo from the last session, so that might explain that one. And one of the ADRT drivers, who I didn't quite see which one it was. If anyone wants to remind me which one it was, that would be very much appreciated. One of the ADRT drivers, Team Addictos, in the Alfa Romeo, will be getting a 10th-place grid penalty. Those penalties all for incidents at the last race for TTG and ADRT. And for CRE, it was for a late submission of their driver lineup for Justin and Dmitry Minic. And that is why they have got themselves that qualifying ban, which they didn't serve. So we saw some fantastic pace. We saw some fantastic pace, of course, for CRE. Well, particularly Dmitry Minic, who has scored all of their points so far this season. 6th at Bahrain, 8th at Saudi Arabia. It's the only 2 races he's taken part in. Every single one he's managed to score in the points. He's going to have to go some to keep that record up tonight. I think we're waiting for a few drivers who have, understandably, to put it nicely, taken this time off to go for a personal needs break at the moment. So a few of the drivers have managed to go off and just relieve themselves and just, you know, weight loss tactics. Go for a Raikkonen, I think, is possibly the nicest way we could put it. Manages to go for a Raikkonen. As we just try and get some promo done, all about the social media promo. But thankfully you've not missed anything. Thankfully you haven't missed any of the action at the moment. I think the lobby restart doing us actually probably a bit of a favour there. The lobby restart giveth, lobby restart taketh away. But it is going to be, for anyone who can remember what it's going to be, Georges Day on pole position, Harlan Marquis in 2nd. It is Sergio Sabrino in 3rd, Izar in 4th, and I think I forgot what a few of the other drivers were, if I'm being realistic. I think I forgot what a few are going to be happening. Hopefully, the grid is ready. Hopefully, we'll be able to get started soon, because I think a few of the drivers are starting to, understandably, get impatient. We've got a lot of European drivers here. It's now heading towards 10 PM European time. Admittedly, it's not a work night, it's not a school night, and the night is still young for anyone who wants to, over the age of 18, of course, in Europe, celebrate their race with some dancing, maybe some samba dancing at some clubs later on tonight. So they'll have plenty of time to do that if we manage to get the race started in the next few minutes. I can confirm it's still going to be dynamic weather. I can confirm it is going to be a 36-lap race. I can't confirm whether the grid has been set correctly this time a lot. We are waiting for Boualem Izar as the driver to go. All 18 are in, and if the grid is set, I don't get why we're not going. So, how's everyone's weekend been? how's everyone's weekend been so far? You know, on to Saturday, halfway through the weekend. Sunday starts to feel slightly depressing because you realise that we're heading towards the weekday. Have you been at work today, Peter? I realise it's not the weekend for everyone. Have you enjoyed what I certainly know in Britain has been, and judging by the Le Mans 24-hour, has been fantastic weather in France? Have you spent it watching motor racing? Were you watching the Le Mans 24-hour? Were you watching qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which I missed because I sincerely forgot what time it was and double booked my diary? It's hard being a social butterfly, ladies and gentlemen. But Charles Leclerc on pole position, Sergio Perez in second place, Max Verstappen in third. Really looking forward to watching that race at midday tomorrow. And a big shout out actually to where I'll be before that, watching a few of my friends, John Pickersgill and Jordan Madison, running the Doncaster Half Marathon. Absolutely crazy from that. Let's wait and see how this goes. That's a very good point. Someone's just mentioned I could have done some interviews during this. That would have been a good idea. I'm clearly not thinking really on my feet here too much. We'd have been able to hear what some of the drivers thought about qualifying session and what some of the drivers thought about what's going to happen in the race. We are all in the lobby now, which is great to see. And we are heading towards the start, and drivers hopefully have enough time. And if you haven't got your setup saved and you don't have time to put on a setup for that reason, you kind of deserve not to have your own setup on. Maybe that's me being a bit harsh, but that is just my opinion at the moment. But we are in the lobby. We are getting ready for the race. Qualifying's already happened about 30 minutes ago. We're ready to see what can happen. And it is going to be in pole position, George Nader, around the one, the only, Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. First used in 1973, one of two circuits in Brazil to host this race, along with the one, of course, in Rio de Janeiro, which was demolished to make way for the Olympic Park, of course, that was used in the 2016 Olympics. As we see the tyres now that everyone has gone on, and interestingly, some of the drivers have taken the opportunity, as nothing is coming up on screen, which is, there we go, we had a bit more of a worry there. Nothing was coming up for a second. You can see the tyres that everyone has gone for. Nearly everyone has gone for that set of the medium tyres. A bit more of a mix-up. Last time Harlan Marquis went for a set of the mediums. This time it is going to be Darksy on a set. Well, Harlan Marquis went for a set of softs. Now he's on mediums. Darksy's gone for softs, and J. Cole has also gone for softs. So, that's how things are going to look here. George Nader on pole position on that set of the medium tyres. What can Darksy and J. Cole do on their set of softs? What can Mr. Dmitry Minich do from the back of the grid? As we've actually got quite a bit of a split on this formation lap. You can see Dmitry making his way around Bico de Pato now. George Nader in the midfield are a long, long way out of Young Zhao here, and it's the Hamilton tactic, I suppose we can call it. We saw Lewis Hamilton do this in the sprint race to great effect in one of the best weekends I think you'll ever see in Formula 1 history, coming from the back of the sprint race to get himself up to 5th, then with a 5-place grid penalty, still come through and recover to take the victory last time out at Brazil. And of course now, Lewis Hamilton is an honorary citizen of Brazil. So who'd have seen that coming 13 and a half years ago when he stole the title from Felipe Massa at the finish line? But it is Dmitry pulling into his grid slot, and it is George Nader then on pole position for this race as we wait for the lights to come on here at Interlagos. We've got 5 lights. They go out and we're underway for the finale here in Brazil, and it's a decent start then from Harlan Marquis, straight away forcing George Nader to go offensive, and it is Harlan into the lead. Nader in second place. Izar's got ahead of Sergio Sobrino as well, so it's been a bit of a nightmare for the ET8 boys from the start of the race. George Nader trying to fight back on the run down towards Destino de Largo, using plenty of ERS, and he might be able to do this here. Down the inside has gone George. There's Harlan, able to hold off around the outside, and now things just settle down. Sobrino's found himself getting shuffled down the order. There's a car off in a big way in the background, and that is Christian Schenk, and somehow Christian has not retired from the race there. That is massive damage. We've got some debris on the inside. Darksy using his soft tyres to great effect as well. He's shut himself up into 8th place in this race. But it is Nader leading now from Marquis, Izar in 3rd place, and the Intrepid drivers having a good start as well. Both of them gaining positions. Sergio losing 3. And I do wonder whether there was any contact between himself and Schenk, maybe Johansson as well. They were the drivers that were sort of close. So Schenk has retired from the session. He's lost it. Coming out to Pico de Bato. Will that cause a safety car? Dan trying to move his way up the order, trying to go round the outside of, well, he's past Alberto Navarro. He's now trying to see if he can go around the outside of Alex Santana, and that one, unfortunately for him, he's not doing. And he's now coming under pressure from Alberto Navarro as well. Skies is sort of bullying Dan here at the moment. He's managing to defend quite valiantly from one of them, but I think, unfortunately, it is going to be in vain. Just finds himself getting shoved off the track, and now he's got Matteo De Campo trying to go alongside him. That's not going to work around the outside of Ferrajova. That's put him under pressure from J. Cole, and that's also allowed Ahab Khan to get the move done as well. So these guys battling quite hard in the midfield. And what that has done already, as you can see, has opened up the gap here from 9th towards 10th place. DRS will be activated next time around. The first time they can use it. As we said, things were looking okay for him at the start of the race, and not so much now. J. Cole has spun around, so he's marooned at the back of the field on those soft tyres. No matter how quick they are, they're not going to be quick enough to let him catch up, as Justin, that racer, drops it coming out of Young Sao as well, and that is normally a dangerous place to lose the car, as it just kind of resets you into the middle of the track and causes all sorts of problems for yourself. But that is by the by. You can see DRS open on Sergio Sabrino. You can see the indication on the telemetry that DRS is open on Darksea. These top 9 cars are in a DRS train. This is where it gets harder for Santana, Navarro, Dan Zoidema, Khan, the rest to catch up. They're going to find this quite tricky at the moment to try and catch up with all these drivers. Gaining 2, 3, 4 tenths a lap, obviously, because of the power of the DRS. You do lose a bit in the dirty air, more than make up for that throughout the rest of the lap. And Darksea now needs to get a bit imaginative. He's in 7th place. Starting on the softs has clearly worked out for him. It is normally the suboptimal strategy. We'll see if he can make any moves on those soft tyres on places where the drivers aren't expecting. You can see how much pace he has got coming out of Young Sao. Just not quite getting the run he'd have perhaps wanted in the DRS. And Sergio, despite looking like he was under big pressure on the entry there, not so much at the moment. He is able to defend valiantly from the Shizou man. And another McLaren that's having problems with the Shizou car is Jos Didder at the moment. Still holding on to the lead, though. About 3 tenths of a second. Harlem closing in. He's not going to be close enough to have a go into Decido de Largo. Just backing up. And it always amazes me how drivers battle that hard when they're, what, a tenth of a second apart? You get your braking zone wrong. You get slightly distracted. You're whacking into the car in front. You're going to be in a world of pain, unfortunately. But they're all doing a superb job at the moment. A stellar job. Just keeping the right distance to the car in front. As Sabrino looks as though he was going to be coming under some sort of pressure. Just managing to hold on this occasion. You can see Darksea's got the pace, but at this part of the circuit, you're not going to make the overtakes work, and he's going to have to either go for a dive, go for something a bit different to possibly force the McLaren driver offline, or you're going to find all sorts of trouble. And he's going to possibly pay for this at the end of the race. He's a bit closer on this occasion, but I still don't think he's quite within range to go for it into the Senna S. Closes up, thinks about it, down the inside he goes actually. Darksea with a very brave move there down the inside into the Senna S, and he's definitely forced Sabrino offline here. Has to go over the curb, does the Shizou driver, and is that going to give him the better run coming down towards Decido de Largo? Not on this occasion. He fought hard, Darksea. He did what he had to. And Sabrino's just got a tiny bit wide, and that is going to be all the invitation that the Ferrari needs. Into 6th place goes Darksea. Very well done in the end. And every position he gains on the soft tyres, he's going to benefit quite a lot from at the end of this race. We've still got a long way to go, obviously. We're only at the end of lap number 5 as Ahab Khan has come into the pit, off the mediums onto the softs. You do have to use 2 different types of tyres. You're not going to get to the end on those soft tyres. Matea's rejoined the session, thankfully. And Justin, that racer, gets our first 3-second time penalty as the train continues on towards lap number 6 here at Brazil. And again, Darksea's doing a supreme job in that DRS zone. Just can't quite get close enough to the Intrepid cars at the moment of Jay Verhaeghe, and Alexander Johansson again thinks about it. Now, that one was a bit too late from Darksea. That one I don't think was ever going to work. What we are seeing, though, is some battling and possibly some good teamwork from Skyzers here. Santana and Navarro keep swapping lap after lap. They've only got Dan with them. I mean, Minich, Justin, and the rest have had all sorts of problems. So we've got quite a, quite a split up field at the moment. Quite a disjointed pack that we wouldn't really see in a race where DRS, as we've spoken about on numerous occasions, is that important. It is just causing themselves some trouble. We'll see who's had a fantastic first laps at the moment. Sergio's lost 4. He's not had a great performance. Despite having a qualifying ban and despite having a spin, Justin has gained 4. It's not a surprise at all, though, that the biggest gainer is one of the drivers on the set of soft tyres. We saw earlier on that spin, obviously, for J. Cole drop him towards the back of the order. Darksea using those soft tyres to perfection at the moment and making the moves when his teammate in front, who has the advantage of the car in front of him not having the use of the drag reduction system, is not able to get close enough at the moment. George Neder just doing what he has to. Just doing a brilliant job leading this race. 0.8 of a second he pulls that out of. Coming out of the centre S, if he can knock him outside of the DRS range, this is on for George to take a somewhat more straightforward victory in this race than what we expected. Yes, there's a long way to go. Yes, he's had wheel issues before. If he breaks that 1 second margin, though, I can't see Harlan getting back within it, and I think only strategy would get anyone else back within this way. So George doing what he has to. Ayub Khan, unsurprisingly, with the fastest lap at the back of the field on a fresh set of softs. Not giving up yet, and still within that DRS range. So if we see any penalties, if we see any safety cars, as Ayub is still on the lead lap, he's got an opportunity to still get some points in this race. So never, ever give up, folks. You don't know what is just around the corner. You don't know what is about to happen in this race. Safe to say what I don't think is going to happen is any overtakes for the next few minutes. They're all just stuck in a DRS train. They're all quite happy to stay very stabilised, as Darksea quite happy to show his nose down the inside, but from that far back it's not going to work. It is just an attempt to spook the car in front into making a mistake. It might work if I'm the car in front. It's not going to work against someone as experienced as Jay Verhaeghe, the new Intrepid signing, who of course formerly of WOR. He's wise to that. He's probably not even looking at his mirrors when the car is that far back. Yes, you get the proximity markers that, when they're red, do mean the car is extremely close to the back of you. You might be about to make contact, but I don't think he'll be worried too much. This could be a worry, though. First 3 second penalty we've seen for any of the cars towards the lead pack for Alexander Johansson. Only at lap number 8 to get that 3 second penalty. He dropped 5 places at the moment. Things might not be this much spread out towards the end. Drivers may still within the DRS range if we get late pit stops, if we get any safety cars, if we just get drivers pitting on the same laps. Drivers might still be within the DRS range. So Johansson will definitely be hoping more drivers get penalties at the moment. Intrepid will certainly be hoping that, because otherwise this could just allow Shizou to sneak in and take that 3rd place in the championship. Which I think, given the fact that we've seen, so, Commentators curse, I think it's worked a treat there. Harlan Marquis has had a big mistake coming out of the final part of the centre S. Harlan Marquis, all of a sudden, as we were just talking up Shizou to possibly, has he got down? He's lost his front wing. How on earth has he done that? Harlan Marquis has completely lost his front wing, and the Shizou man, from what was looking like a possible podium for him, is going to be lucky to score many points in this race. Absolute disaster for them. A gift to Intrepid. Who knows, maybe still a gift to WOR, who are only 1 point ahead of Intrepid and don't have any drivers in this race. But Harlan Marquis is going to drop to last place, and he is going to have all sorts of trouble getting any decent result. You can see him struggling around. I'm not sure whether there was contact with George. He did look pretty close to him. Well, we'll wait and see if that was the case. I'm sure we'll be hearing from someone within Shizou if that was the problem. Jay is getting pretty close to Alexander at the moment. And looking at the time gap, looking at the fact that we very briefly saw a red light flashing on the back of Alex, and looking at the lines Johansson is taking, I think it might be worth, if there's any engineers for Intrepid listening, this might be the time to start considering a swap, because Jay has a lot more ERS, and Alex V briefly dropped to about 8 or 9 tenths of a second back. And if he drops outside of DRS range, he has got a penalty as well. You could be throwing your team's podium chances away, so this could be one to watch. Harlan Marquis clearly not confident on the medium tyres. He's going towards the end on that set of the hard rubber. Lap number 10 of the final race of the TTG Esports Invitational. George Deder got overtaken on the start line, managed to retake the lead on lap number 1. Has never really looked close to being headed since. Izzar in second place, taking advantage of the mistake from Harlan Marquis. Is this race heading ET8 FBR with Intrepid just behind once again, like we've seen at the first race, like we've seen at so many this season. As this looks like an orchestrated move there, this looks like it is going to happen. Jay Verhaeghe gets himself onto a podium place, up into third. We'll see whether the young Dutchman can now close up to the back of Izzar and make this a three-way battle for the lead in this race. And it's also swapping back, as we see how powerful the DRS is, given the fact that now 6 seconds behind the Skeizers. Alberto Navarro and Alex Santana, who could still get some points from this race. Do not write them out from a double points finish. 9th and 10th would double their points of the entire season. Any drama, any chaos could possibly even bring them back into contention with CRE to avoid that wooden spoon spot. CRE currently on 12 points in the championship, and Skeizers currently on 3 points. So one to watch out for, whether we do see any battling there between Aston Martin and Williams, as I think this is the lap George has decided to just push things a bit. He's trying as he might to break that 1 second window to Izzar, and Izzar has just about done enough to remain within it. And I think it is crucial that he has got that DRS, because things were starting to look a bit tough there. So you'll see Izzar closing now. It was worth a shot, but it has certainly backfired. As we said, it'd be quicker in free air. Jay now sets the fastest lap of the race. And Alex is looking under pressure from Darksea, who will be the first driver to pit, I think, in the next couple of laps. But he's still doing a good job on these softs. He's still managing to hold his ground at the moment. At the moment, Darksea is in 5th place, as we've got a yellow flag, and that is the other CRE car of Dimitri Minic, after what was such a good qualifying. Had that penalty that dropped them towards the back of the grid. He's now towards the back of the race entirely. Dimitri able to carry on, and it's great to see him doing so. He is in 16th place at the moment, as XL Dan has managed to now get himself in the middle of the two Skeizers cars. So Dan now up into 10th. They've been doing the teamwork for the last few laps of the Williams. Whether that's going to be the case now, we'll wait and see. J. Cole, he comes out on a set of hard tyres. Dimitri Minic retires from the race, so no points whatsoever for the consistent e-racing team and the Aston Martins. And I'm surprised J. Cole's gone out on a set of hard tyres. You can get the mediums to last that long. It's a bit of being careful needed, no doubt about it. But the mediums can certainly go that far into the race, as Darksea is still on the back of Alexander Johansson, and thankfully for Alex, he's able to stay in contact. I wonder whether Jay is just trying to keep him within his 1 second gap himself. But Jay's losing out here, because Izzar has now got that 1 second gap up, and Izzar staying within a second of Georges Deder has really closed things up towards the front, because if he hadn't have done that, I've said it a few times, I think Deder would have just pulled away in this one. All of a sudden, Boualem Izzar is right on the back of George, the closest we've seen anyone really get to him since Harlem had that moment a few laps ago. Let's not forget, Harlem and Izzar were fairly close to the back of George, and on occasion looked as though they might get towards the lead. I still wonder if there was contact. Unfortunately, I don't think we are going to find out whether the ET8 and the Shizou cars came together, but it's a disaster for Shizou in terms of their third place aspirations in this championship. They'll just have to deal with it, unfortunately. One of the many facts of life, facts of motor racing. No point crying over spilt milk now. Harlan Marquis just has to put his head down a long way off the back of the order, but knows he doesn't have to pit again, knows he's on the lead lap, knows he's got no penalties, and those last few will be crucial if we do get a safety car. Someone who I think will be ruining his poor start to the race is Sergio Sabrino in 6th place, despite seeing, obviously, an incident for Schenk early on, and Harlan Marquis dropping down the order. 3 places lost from where he started, and now we're starting to see the soft tyres on Darksea struggle that little bit more. The Ferrari not as close as he's been to Johansson over the last few laps, As we're seeing here, there was no contact between ETH and Shazoo, so I think Haaland just losing it is on his own accord. There was certainly some contact between ETH and Shazoo there. Sabrino almost pushing Darksea around the corners. Determined to get this move done, and I think we'll be hoping that Shazoo car gets well out of the way and gives Sabrino DRS, because he'll be thinking, I could still get a podium in this race. I am not out of things just yet. Darksea will probably take the net lead after all the pit stops happen, but he's going to be on a set of mediums, and all the cars around him are going to be on a set of soft tyres, and that is going to be very difficult indeed. As there we go, Darksea just dive out of the way. He becomes the first of the front runners to come in for a scheduled pit stop at the end of lap number 14. And it is still Nadir and Izzar battling at the front of the field. Jay trying as he might to stay within a second, and just doing enough on this occasion. That will certainly be handy for him at the end of this race. And there comes Darksea just coming out onto track in really what is a perfect place for him. Plenty of free air. I'd imagine he's going to have the pace to catch up to Matteo De Campo on his older tyres. If he can get the move done nice and easily with a dose of DRS, that will certainly help his chances fantastically. In fact, I was surprised here. He got DRS down turn number 3. All I can imagine is that he passed the detection point within a second of De Campo, but De Campo was out on circuit and Darksea was still in the pits, which I'm not sure is how it's meant to work, but I'm fairly sure Darksea will not be complaining at that fact. Back to my original point, if he can get the DRS off De Campo and pass him nice and straightforward, every little helps for him. But he's in a catch-22 situation here. He needs to push now to make sure that he can get the lead of this race. He needs to also make sure that his mediums have got a bit in hand for the end of this race, when he's going to be getting caught by some supremely fast soft runners. And Izzar is catching supremely fast to the back of George Nader, and just doesn't look interested. I think now, after that push they had early on, you can see the levels of hybrid energy. They get it when they lift off, they get it when they break in. Obviously they expend it at the start of the straight, which is the most effective time to use it when you're, you know, a bit more power limited rather than limited by the aerodynamic efficiency of the car. The drag really starting to kick in at the higher speeds, so it makes sense to use your ERS at the lower speeds. Makes sense to maybe even use it just as a little boost out to these corners. But I think George is just thinking about Izzar having that DRS on him and just wanting to make sure he can boost his way out of Young Sao. Not choosing to on that occasion, and possibly choosing to defend from Izzar if he so chooses. Whether we're going to see the Frenchman can be close enough for FVR to go for the lead of this race on occasion, we're going to wait and see. He's closing in, but once more does not look interested in battling. And what this has done, you can see there all of a sudden, the front three are a lot closer than they were, and Alexander's still in this. Alexander Johansson has recovered a bit. His ERS has not recovered, but he was looking close to dropping outside of the DRS range. Now that he hasn't, he's looking a bit safer, and Sergio isn't able to get as close. Jan Haladej, who's just sitting on the back of this train as well in 6th place, he's not able to get as close. But it's going to be a fantastic race, and I think something must have happened that we haven't noticed to Ryan Grob, because he's dropped a long way back. He's now 6 seconds off the back of this train. Navarro's closed in a bit as well, so something's gone wrong with Ryan Grob. Sort of in no man's land at the moment in 7th place, with 3 seconds of penalties, as has Johansson, as has Santana. Thankfully for Grob, that isn't going to be an issue at this moment in time, but could well become one later on in this race, as once more Nadir and Izzar carry on. They're about to start lap number 18 out of 36, and this is going to be the occasion for the FVR man. Then sweeps his way down the inside. Thank you very much. Boualem Izzar started in 4th place. He's made his way up into the lead of this Brazilian Grand Prix, and George does not look close enough to fight back on this occasion. XL Dam getting the move done on the straight very nicely indeed on Alberto Navarro, as Ryan Grob and Matteo De Campo into the pits off their medium. Surely at this point in the race, you're going to have to go for a set of hard tyres. Surely you're not getting 19 seconds out the softs, but Matteo's trying it. Matteo De Campo is trying a set of soft tyres. That is, I'm not sure bold's the right word. I'm not sure brave's the right word. Risky. I think he's being kind to that strategy. Mattia De Campo is hoping for 19 laps even, on a set of soft tyres. I don't see them lasting that long with any decent pace. Might not get a puncture. He's definitely going to be under some threat, though, of that puncture towards the end. Will any of our front runners react to that? We'll wait and find out. Darksea did manage to fly past Mattia, obviously, with the assistance of Mattia coming to the pit. So Alex Santana, Navarro, and XL Dan are Darksea's next target. And 18.4 seconds is that gap, which you'd imagine is just going to drop and drop and drop every single lap. You'd imagine we'll be talking about the Shizou man holding the net lead of this race sooner rather than later. Georges Deder closing in once more onto Boualem Izar into the Cedar de Largo, where apart from lap 1, we've not seen many moves. No one's really been able to get a good enough exit out of the Senna S. I think if Darksea had a chance, he'd be able to, but not really seen anyone go for that. Towards the end, things will change. Towards the end, drivers will realise it's now or never. We're only really fighting for pride in this championship. FVR took the €100 first prize, and there are no prizes for anyone else. To paraphrase the Swedish pop band, the winner takes it all here in the TTG Invitational. But they all want to win a race. If you put these drivers on anything, they're going to be exceptionally competitive. They want to do as well as they possibly can. And George, I think, wants to retake the lead of this race. There goes the Lebanese driver in the McLaren. Georges Deder takes the lead as his teammate dives into the pits at the end of lap 19. Now, this is still going to be marginal to get in these softs towards the end, but it definitely doesn't make sense to put hards on from now. So he comes out, and we'll see where he is relative to Darksea. He's heading down the pit straight now in this DRS train. He is going to be well clear of Sabrino. And Darksea, he needs to make a move on his tyres. He's moving DRS range of Santana, who has not got it. He's not going to be... Oh, actually, no. Santana does have the DRS. He's not going to be close enough to make any moves into the Cedar de Largo. He's probably going to have to follow him for this entire middle sector. And that is going to put Sergio Sabrino on a fresh set of soft tyres right underneath the rear wing of the Shizou driver, who looks as though he is thinking about getting brave. Down the inside into there. It's a bit of a risky move. Round the outside for Pinavino. Should have the grip on the tyres to make this one work. And fair play to Santana for giving him the room. Would have been very tempting to shove him off towards the curb and the grass. Darksea gets that move done, but he's definitely lost time already. Sabrino's managed to close up a second in just the middle sector, as now we see more of the leaders coming to the pits. Obviously, Johansson stays out to avoid the double stack. Nadir, Izar, Verhaeghe and Halliday all coming into the pits. Where are they going to come out relative to this battle that we are seeing, as Nadir was in the lead of this race? Is he still going to be ahead of Darksea? It's going to be incredibly close on the exit of the pits. And if Darksea's not managed to do this, which it looks like he just has, as we get whatever camera angle that was. So we saw a brilliant view of the Interlagos paddock, folks. Hope you all enjoyed that. Georges Deder has come out behind his teammate, but he's crucially still within DRS range. It's game over for Darksea. He's not built the gap that he needed to do so. These softs will last towards the end without getting a puncture. I am very confident of it, especially for Nadir, Izar, Verhaeghe and Halliday. 15-16 laps is what you try to do on a set of soft tyres. It's just not worked out, unfortunately. And down the inside goes Sergio Sabrino there on Darksea, taking advantage of his fresher tyres and makes the move work. And I think we're going to see Sabrino take the actual lead of this race in approximately 5 to 10 seconds time. There comes Alberto Navarro. He's not got the grip. He's not got any hope of keeping Sabrino behind him. Nadir has also managed to get ahead of Darksea, who's just being swamped in the background. Here comes Izar, trying to have a move on the Shizou Mad driver. Is he going to make it work? Are we going to go 3 wide in towards turn number 1? Izar on the inside. There's contact. I think we knew 3 wide into the centre S was not going to work. And Jan Halliday having to take evasive action in all of that, as Ivan, the carnage didn't start slowly there. The carnage just appeared on screen for us all to see. Whether anyone's got any damage from that, I'm not sure. A lot of it looked like wheel-to-wheel contact. 3 into 1 wasn't going to work, and I think Jan Halliday, an extremely harsh 5-second penalty, which I am sure he will be able to get removed, because he just took evasive action to avoid everyone coming across the circuit. Georges Deder, though, well, he might not be able to get that 3-second time penalty removed. Today, now in the lead of this race, has a 3-second penalty. What do you do if you're Sabrino? Do you back up the pack to keep your teammates safe? Or do you just go for this knowing that you've got a chance of getting a victory? I'd say there's still a chance of a ET8 double podium in this race. Darksy and Navarro have dropped way back. We're going to see Johansson, who is just living, breathing proof that the double stack was not the way to go. Johansson now down in 7th place. Pitted a lap later with that penalty. He's already on the back of Darksy, who will drop like a stone in this race. He's going to drop down towards 7th place. Whether he drops any lower, whether Ryan Grob is able to catch up on those hards, I think he's going to be a big ask. But yeah, Darksy just not able to make it work. Got stuck in a bit of traffic. He is now in 6th place. We just saw the carnage. Him, Izar and Navarro coming together. That led to Jan Halliday having to take evasive action and picking up a time penalty for doing so. So that 5-second penalty, I think, could be removed. But do not count out Halliday yet for a race win. Or possibly a podium. On lap number 23 out of 36. Everything just looks as though it's going to calm down for the next few minutes. The calm before the storm. With the final 10 laps are certainly going to be ones to watch here. There we are then, looking on board with Jay Verhaeghe, currently in a place to get ET8, well, to get Intrepid, sorry, best result of the season. 3rd on track, he is going to get 2nd overall if he can just stay there because of the 3-second time penalty for George. As we get the penalties up there, 6 for Alexander Johansson is going to drop him, but Intrepid are looking good to get that 3rd place in the championship. And Jay looking very quick indeed. Coming out of Decido de Largo, he's not going to be close enough into Ferragura to make this work, but he's showing some pace at the moment. He is showing a good turn of speed. Is Jay. We expected this in the first stint. He was stuck behind his teammate for quite a severe amount of time. And it just sort of wondered if he'd have been freed earlier, would have been able to make any more moves. He's got himself up into 3rd. Yes, bit of luck obviously with the contact with Izar. Harlan Malc was having his spin, but hey, keeping it clean is always its own reward in league racing. He looks like he's going to reap that reward with, at worst, a 2nd place, as long as he doesn't get any penalties. Who knows? He could overtake Sabrino. He could take this victory. Now, I think that's sort of what George is working on at the moment. They've built a gap back to Izar, who I'm almost certain has got some damage on that AlphaTauri. Just seems to have no pace. Was within DRS range, has dropped well out of it. And you can see Johansson's closing up, and I imagine Darksy is also going to be able to close up as well. So Izar starting to just struggle a bit on that car. FVR well clear of the championship. Looks like it's going to be their worst performance of the season. Championship over already. I don't think they'll be losing too much sleep over that fact. ET8, probably thinking, where's this pace been all season? 1-2 out on track. On for 1-3 with the currently penalty situation. On for what I think will be a 1-4 after Yang gets his removed. 37 points would be their highest score of the season so far. So once again, Jay a bit closer to Sergio than Sergio is to the back of George. I think George just keeping Sergio in his DRS range here, helping him defend from Jay, because I feel George can go faster. If that happens, Sergio becomes a sitting duck for Jay, and all of a sudden, Intrepid become favourite to take the victory in this race because, well, they'd be in 2nd place, and George has got a penalty, obviously. And you'd see plenty of swapping around between them. We're not seeing any tactics at the moment, and I think that is because of George's penalty. It means things are just calming down. No one really able to make the moves that they would perhaps like to do. Here comes Alexander Johansson, though. He's certainly thinking about a move. He's certainly thinking, right, if other drivers get penalties up ahead, I'm still on for a good result in this race. If I can build a gap, I can still get a top 5 here, and it looks like that will be, again, by far Intrepid's best result of the season. Would be the first time this season they've managed to get both cars into that top 5. Still a long way to go. Still plenty of things to change, and still plenty of battling further down the order as Alex gets another penalty and probably ruins it. Oh! Big shunt! Ayub Khan off towards the wall again. Similar to what we saw with Christian Schenk. That's caused a virtual safety car. I think Alex got the move done just before that. That has caused a virtual safety car. Do we see any drivers go for something different? Do we see someone like a Ryan Grob think, do you know what, this might be worth putting on a set of soft tyres and taking me towards the end of the race? No, we do not. I'd have been tempted there. I'd have been tempted a bit like Matteo De Campo is at the moment. Because he has decided, do you know what? It is worth it. I'm going to come into the pits here. Still under virtual safety car conditions. Get a cheap pit stop. He was one of the drivers. Well, we were certain, sorry. I was going to say unsure. We were certain he was not going to make it towards the end of the race on that set of the soft tyres. And I think you're right, Ivan, there. I'd say very strange, but I know I've done that exact thing on that corner. Not quite that fast, though. And again, I got heavy damage as well. I'm still surprised that didn't cause a retirement. If it would have caused a retirement, that would have caused a safety car. And I think everything we've just been saying about, oh, well, this has been a fairly calm end to the race, would have gone completely out of the window. 9 laps to go for our leaders. And it looks like Georges Dadair is just starting to turn the screw. That gap is building. And Jay Verhaeghe has got a fantastic exit. Coming out to Young Zhao here. Down the inside comes the intrepid man on Sergio Sabrino. They're still battling side by side. Sergio certainly not making it easy for Jay. Both of them are going to have the DRS. And it is Jay who has just got ahead. Jan Halliday is in position to take advantage. If anything goes crazy here, they dive left and right. They try everything. And it is Jay Verhaeghe who takes second place and takes the net lead in this race at the moment. Sergio Sabrino, not sure if he made a mistake out of Young Zhao, but Jay was very close there. Got the move done. He is now up into second, and he knows if he stays there without any penalties, he will take his and Intrepid's first win of the TTG Invitational. And that was quite a turn up for the books. Whether Sergio got caught out by the VSC, I don't think would have really been a valid reason there. But ooh, that is a bit of a slide there from Jay Verhaeghe. Gets away with it. I think just using as much ERS as he can to get away with that one and to try to close up here. He's possibly thinking, well, if I beat George, even if he gets a penalty removed, I've got nothing to worry about. So this might be the situation here to just, you know, all bets are off. Just go for it, really. And who would be able to blame him for good in a situation like this? Sergio's trying to close in, and obviously now George is thinking, well, if I just blow everything on my tyres and go all out, I'm going to knock Jay outside of my DRS range, and I'm going to give Sergio a brilliant chance to get the move back. So maybe, just maybe, that battle is not over yet. Matteo De Campo loving life at the moment with that free pit stop, and this is why I'm surprised Ryan Grob on the set of hard tyres did not go for it. As you can see, Matteo now down into 12th, fastest lap of the race. He's still going to get himself up into 11th, and I think he's still going to get a point. Despite having that qualifying penalty, despite pitting very early on, despite having issues early on in this race, I still think Matteo, in what will be a very solid performance for TTG, is going to get himself at least 1 point in this race. And who knows? Who knows what could happen with penalties? Might be able to get himself more, as Ryan Grob has just picked up a penalty. That now puts him onto 6 seconds in this race. As you see Sergio close up onto the back of the Alpine once more. Verhaeghe's going to have a bit of a task, I think, now, keeping the ET8 car behind. And again, Halliday, I'd say he's on for a possible podium here. Do not write out Jan Halliday if he gets that 5 seconds penalty removed. Because if ADRT reports it and it doesn't get removed, it will be a bit of a travesty. No word of a lie there. He certainly was forced off the circuit. That's why he got the overtake done off track, and that is why he's found himself with 5 seconds. You can see there Johansson on 9, currently stands to lose out to Izzar and Darksy, who's trying to hold on to those medium tyres. 6 for Grob, 5 for Halliday, which we believe will get removed, 3 for Nadir, and 3 for Santana, who is just cruelly going to miss out on getting some more points for Skeisers. And Sabrino certainly not able to stay as close as he would like through that middle part of the lap. And Halliday, third man in the DRS train, is going to find things harder here at the moment. But if he could start attacking Sabrino, 6 to go at the end of this one, and it looks like Nadir is well clear. And there might be another element to this race we have to think about. Nadir is 1.5 seconds clear of Verhaeghe. He gets that up to 3 seconds. He's winning this race despite that penalty. So they need to think about what they're doing here, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place, because they're possibly just maybe giving this race to to George Dadair as Haladej thinks about a move down the outside of Sabrino. Nothing doing on this occasion, but he's another one who's thinking, I've got nothing to lose here. I might as well start sending things. And if these start battling really hard in the middle sector, George will certainly pull that 3 seconds away. He's pulled half a second away on this lap alone. All of a sudden, I'd say Nadir is favourite to win this race with the pace that he is showing, breaking that DRS range at will, as he seemed to be able to do on the Alpine, has certainly been the winning tactic. And Sabrino, is he purposely not challenging Bahagi? Is he purposely just allowing George to build the gap and then go for the move on the Alpine later to secure the 1-2? It's possible. It's a big brain move. It's a risky move indeed. There's sometimes a fine line between, bravado and idiocy. And that can be decided by millimetres in Formula 1. We'll see how this works out as the clouds start to gather over the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. 5 laps to go then. Nadir just needs to pull out another 0.8 seconds and he will take the victory of this race. Sabrino needs to get ahead of the Alpine to make it a 1-2. Bahagi, he's knowing at the moment they're hanging on. As things stand, Intrepid will be securing 3rd in the championship. ETA clearly going to secure 2nd in the championship. I don't think you needed myself or a calculator to tell you that at the moment, as they're currently on to finish 1st and 3rd. No, 2nd and 3rd at the moment because of the penalty, but that will change. Almost certainly, I think, to be in 1st and 3rd. With George just pulling that gap away once more. He's now 2.3 seconds ahead. Further down the order, XL Dam, 9th place. He's on to score the first points for XL that aren't Kango Con. So the Haas team, who we haven't spoken about too much, I don't think, tonight. Let's go in a bit about how XL have done. Still trying to build a bit of a PC team up from being more useful on the PlayStation platform, as I thought Sergio was closing in there. Nothing happening. If we do get any rain at the moment, I don't think it'll rain hard enough to necessitate any move to that set of the intermediate tyres. So Sabrino's definitely going to be close enough here if he wants to think about a send. Closes for DRS. Decides not to go for it. Dan is close enough and gets the move done on Ryan Grob. And that is XL Dan in towards 8th place. They're currently 8th in the championship of XL with 20 points, all from Kango Con. So they've lost him, unfortunately, just the way things work in league racing. Dan Zoidemer proving to be maybe just a very handy replacement indeed. Seen him on the PlayStation. He's a quick driver. Maybe one to watch for the future. Probably not esports level, I think, if we're being perfectly honest. I think he knows that as well. Probably not challengers level. But certainly someone who in top tiers in league racing, outside of the esports and challengers drivers, certainly sort of that next level of one to watch. One who could have a very handy hobby in league racing, as Haladej is actually closing onto the back of Sergio Sabrino here. Sabrino's gone for it on Jay Bahagi, and Haladej is going to try and follow through as well. The Alfa Romeo driver all of a sudden thinking, now's the time to take advantage of that, and Bahagi sort of getting caught napping on the way into the Centre S. He's gone from 2nd down towards 4th place, and is Haladej able to make it 2 cars into corners? No, he is not. Sabrino gets the move done. Haladej in 3rd place and Jay Bahagi now in 4th. If he wants to take a podium in this race, never mind the victory, because we know Jan might be getting a penalty removal. If he wants to get a podium, he's got to get his skates on. He's got to think about where can he get these moves done, where can he make the decisions in the corners to get this overtake done. Because Sabrino, I think as we called it, waited for George Dadair to get 3 seconds ahead, lit the blue touch paper, put the hammer down, and has gone for that move. Whether he can defend from Jan, whether he knows to defend from Jan Haladej, because we know Jan's got a penalty. He'll know it's 5 seconds. I don't know whether he'll know, and his engineers might tell him, whether it is a penalty that can be removed. But Jan's going to go for this move. Down the inside goes Haladej in towards turn number 1, and that is the ADRT driver up in towards 2nd. I mean, 4th place is still going to be a fantastic result, even if he doesn't get it removed. But I'm sure he will be wanting to do so as Johansson gets another penalty. That's 12 seconds. That's going to drop him behind. Izar Sabrino thinks about this. Bahagi thinks about making it 3 wide. And we're going to be watching this right until the death in this race, because who knows who is going to take 2nd place out on track. It's Haladej's at the moment. You can throw a handkerchief over all of these. It is getting very feisty here. We've got a rumble in the jungle. for the final 1.5 laps of this race. Ryan Grob is holding on to the back of XL Dan at the moment. Matteo De Campo has almost got Alex Santana done. If he can overtake him, I think he'll finish ahead of Ryan Grob anyway. So they're both on to score some points at the moment. Well, De Campo is. He could still possibly make it 2 points from what has been quite a difficult race in this situation. As there is Sabrino all over the back of Halliday, who's just trying to think of something different to do. He can't defend from the McLaren. There goes Sergio Sabrino. There goes Jay Mahage. And is he going to be able to fight and make it second position in this race? The Alpine now in third. ET8 Sabrino in second. Halliday drops down towards fourth. And I don't think the Alpine has got a good enough exit out of the centre S. He's going to be closing. Is he going to be able to move for ascending towards Tessino de Largo? He's got into the back of him. He's got into the back of him. And Jan Halliday says, thank you very much. I'll take that third position. And if I get my penalty removed, I'll take the podium in this race. And I think Jay's damaged his front wing in that. Jay Mahage, absolute nightmare. Went for a move which was optimistic at best. He's damaged his front wing. And what was looking like a ridiculously chaotic end to the race, a brilliant end to the race between these three drivers. Unfortunately, the ADR man is going to get third place. And unfortunately for Intrepid, Jay Verhage is going to finish in fourth. Although, Jan Halliday has picked up a penalty coming through the final corner. So Jay Verhage is still going to get a podium in this race. And it has been a dominant victory. Georges Jeunet takes the victory. Sergio Sabrino makes it a 1-2. And even if he gets his penalty removed, it's going to make no difference. Jay Verhage finishes in third. Halliday fourth, Johansson fifth. Izar will get fifth place in the end after the penalties situation. And there we go. And it is going to be Darksy coming home. He tried something different on that strategy. It didn't really work for him. Dan in 8th. Matteo De Campo in 9th. Ryan Grob in 10th. Santana just missing out. Marquis, what could have been for him and Shazoo? We could have had 4 cars fighting towards the end of that race. Marquis in 12th. And Alberto Navarro 13th finish. Jay Cole will be the final finish. Well, the final man to cross the line, as Ayub Khan has already finished this race. But it is a perfect end to the season. Not obviously good enough to win the championship. That was already secured before tonight. But the only team to get a 1-2 this season. And it is only ET8 who can say that. A brilliant job from Georges Jeunet. He takes the victory. Sabrino in second. And Jay Verhage, bit of an optimistic move at the end. He still comes home in the podium place. As we see what can happen there, driver of the day, I think, unsurprisingly, I'm not going to agree with the game. I mean, can you look past the man who qualified on pole? Can you look past the man who qualified on pole and took the victory in this race? I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can, if I'm being honest. But, you know, that is just my opinion. Georges Jeunet takes the victory. Sergio Sabrino makes it a 1-2 for the ET8 squad. Jay Verhage gets third place in the race and secures third place for them in the championship. Jan Halliday just missing out. If it wasn't for that 3-second time penalty, I think he'd have been the man on the podium. In the end, he finishes in 4th place. Izar in 5th after, I think, getting damaged early on. Alexander Johansson, too many penalties costing him. He finished in 6th in the Alpine. Darksy, Dan, De Campo and Grob round out the 10 points finishers. And then it is Santana, Marquis, Navarro, Jacol, Khan, Minich we saw retire, as well as that racer, and Christian Schenk retiring right at the start of, at times, did not look like it was going to be the most dramatic of Grand Prix. If I'm being perhaps a bit harsh again here at Brazil, didn't look like we were going to see all sorts of incidents and chaos. I think what probably did things is as soon as Jay, possibly, maybe the worst thing he could have done was gone for the overtake on Sergio Sabrino on that lap, because when that happened, it cost them both a bit of time. George decided to run away. He broke away with a 3-second penalty. And there you go. Ended up taking a victory in this race fairly comfortably indeed. And I can tell you that we are joined by our race winner, the only man to get double race wins this season. It is Georges Jeunet. A fantastic performance from you there in the end, George. Able to pull away that 3-second gap despite having that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, pace was good. Surprisingly, I haven't done single lap of practice. But to be fair, also the battling with my teammate and the Alpine helped as well. But I was trying to be fair twice in the first stint, once with the Ferrari and another one with the AlphaTauri. Almost got out of DRS, was like 9/10-ish. I had a gap of 9/10, but yeah, just the DRS is too powerful.
Yeah, certainly. We saw you. I saw you try that, get about 9.5 tenths ahead of his arm, and he was able to close in. Was there some teamwork going on when you were keeping Sabrino just in that sort of 6 or 7 tenths of a second range? Because it looked as soon as Jay overtook him, you were able to pull out that gap.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously were working a bit as a team. In the first stint as well, I saw that Sergio was a bit on the edge in terms of, you know, the DRS gap. So I tried and help him with that. But yeah, I mean, he could have easily sticked with me with my DRS for sure. But yeah, sometimes I would just lift a bit just to make sure he's in there.
And tell us about your hopes then for the next game, obviously. I mean, I've commentated you on the PlayStation. I imagine now you'll be heading to PC full time. What's the hopes for F1 2022?
Yes, I'll be PC full time. It's just basically to build on what I was doing the last couple of weeks on PC. And now that, you know, I've got used to the platform, I feel I'm driving really well. I hope I can, you know, with the new game, transfer all that knowledge into the next game and hopefully start strong.
Yeah, well, I think you've definitely got the talent to do so, George. So congratulations on the podium and on the victory. And I'm sure I'll be speaking to you again some point next year.
Cheers, thanks for the commentating all year long.
No worries at all. And we're gonna drag in. Seeing as we haven't got Sergio, we have though got the team boss of ET8, Alex Lamorte. A perfect day for your team today. Managed to work things brilliantly, getting the 1-2 there. You must be very proud with how the season ended.
Yes, hello. Perfect race for us. Saying that we could not fight for the championship, but we end the season with big sensations, big feelings with this 1-2, and also very high tension in the last laps, but it was a great race for us.
I mean, how nerve-wracking is it as a manager in that situation? Because sometimes, I mean, I get nervous watching racing as a fan sometimes when I haven't got any particular driver I'm supporting. I imagine for you when you can't really control what is going on, it must be pretty nervous for yourself.
Yes, we were a bit nervous because it was difficult to manage the last laps as George had a time penalty, but we had a bit of luck because when the virtual safety car gone, Sergio went a bit asleep and Jay overtook him, and thanks to that George could escape from the DRS. And also, when Jan Halade passed Sergio, it was a big opportunity to keep the second position. So finally, we had a lot of battery, and in the last lap, we resisted well.
Yeah, you did a brilliant job. Now, obviously, George has gone to VSR. Sergio's proved, though, you've got some fantastic drivers at ET8. What do you think you can do as a team on the next game?
Well, Sergio is leaving the team, but we still have a lot of good drivers, so we think we can keep in the top for this kind of championships. So we are also looking to take part in the next edition of this event. We enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing you again. So congratulations on the season, Alex. A great season for yourself at ET8, and congratulations on the 1-2 tonight.
Thank you, Luke. Bye-bye.
Thank you indeed. And now we've got the man who finished in third place, his first podium of the season, and securing intrepid third place in the championship. It is Jay Bahage. And Jay, a fantastic performance from yourself. Just that final lap, just costing you in the end from being able to get second. Tell us about what happened into turn number 4.
Bro, sorry, I have so many things going on now, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, basically we started pretty nicely together, and eventually, yeah, I just went for the move after a few laps. It was very close, but it did work. So yeah, I mean overall, man, it's been a crazy race, and I sound hella confused because I am, but yeah, I'll explain to you later.
Yeah, like you said, it was a crazy race. So much happening with yourselves. You went for the move on Sergio. I think we were about 8 or 9 laps to go. Were you tempted to leave it later? Because at that point, I thought that move would be for the lead, but once George managed to get away, he was able to build the gap up.
Yeah, it was. I saw he made a little mistake on the exit, so I just went for the move, just use all my overtake. And yeah, after a few close calls, I finally got him, luckily enough. But yeah, they were working pretty good together, of course, because the other guy from ET8 was in P1 as well. And I think he saved his battery a bit, because yeah, he just ran away. And I think they did play that very smartly. And is that a word? I mean, I don't even know. They played it super smart. I just gotta give credit to that. But yeah, for me it was a pretty good race. I tried something in the last lap, but sadly I got some tiny bit of damage as well. But yeah, it's still fine for the overall result.
Yeah, I think Jan might have been able to get his penalty removed as well as 5 seconds, but obviously that 3 second he will not be able to. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you're trying out like content creation and things on the next game. So what are your plans for F1 2022? Is there still going to be a lot of league racing involved in that, or are you going to try and expand to other racing games as well?
Yeah, to answer your question, I will be doing a lot of open lobbies, but also a lot of league racing as well, because I'm planning to do multiple leagues. So it's just going to be yeah, not really only one thing. It's going to be multiple things. But I am really excited for 22. And yeah, talking about content creation, I just had a insane stream, so yeah, that's why I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, thankfully Twitch did not delete your account halfway through the stream.
Yeah, I heard. What
in case anyone's wondering why we're on YouTube, and in case anyone watches this back and wondering why the race is on YouTube, you won't be able to see qualifying because I'm not sure we're going to get that account back. But yeah, nothing we can do about that. Congratulations, OJ, on the podium, and yeah, I'll let you head off.
Yeah, thanks for the comms.
No worries, and that is it for the race, and that is it for the TTG PC Invitational. Thank you so much to everyone that has joined us tonight and over the previous 4 to 5 weeks. We saw a brilliant victory there for tonight from ET8, but it was FER who took the win overall in the championship. Second for ET8, and thanks to Java Hargate's 3rd place, Intrepid securing 3rd in the championship. Keep an eye out on the League Racing TV YouTube channel for action on Gran Turismo 7 and other F1 leagues, and possibly some other games joining as well. But for myself, Luke Etheridge, thank you for watching once more. Take care, and we'll see you next time around. Goodbye.